Hey everybody, Sultan Shinola coming to you with thoughts for the weekend for this Friday, April 13th. Yes, Friday the 13th. So, the unemployment claims for the week, they reported an increase for the first time in several weeks, even though every week they report and the next week they increase the estimate. And then they report it down and then they increase it each week in a revision. So, they've been able for the last 3-4 weeks be able to say every week, oh, a decrease, even though it's actually gone up every week. Because of the funny math that they do, they're able to, decrease. Well, they finally had to increase it because they just couldn't get around it anymore. But the way they reported it, claims for unemployment insurance increased 13,000 to 380. And immediately I was like, 13,000 to 380? I thought the prior month was like 360. Or the prior week. And so, you dig into it and you look, and sure enough, you look at the numbers, the prior week, they increased the number up, because they had reported the prior week at 357. Well, they revised the prior week up to 367, and then reported the number up to 380 for the week, so they made the increase look like 13,000 when the increase from the prior week was actually 23,000. But, they just love to play with the numbers, and I don't even know why they bother. I really don't. But I'll get to that in a second about the whole way they calculate. And also coming out in the report Thursday, the trade deficit. They're all excited because they say the trade deficit shrank by 12.4% down to $46 billion in February. They say the biggest decrease. It's just amazing because they're like, well, then that means that obviously things are getting better because our trade deficit, that means we're exporting more stuff. But they don't dig into the numbers to see, and I couldn't find the actual report itself. I'm sure it's out there. Producer Price Index also was reported, and they try to make it sound nice and rosy. Yeah, it's kind of hard to, they say that, outside food and energy, producer prices were pushed up by light motor trucks and blah, blah, blah. And they say that, well, the increase is just likely a demand for automobiles. Yeah, and they try to say, because gasoline just wasn't that big of a deal during the month, this last in February. Yeah, it was just like 2% decrease in gasoline cost in February. Well, when you take out the seasonal factors and get this, seasonal, because they always do the seasonal adjustments, when you get the seasonal factors out, gasoline prices actually rose 7.5% in February. So, they just constantly got to play with the numbers to make them look good, right? So I said that I would talk about, the accounting of how they figure out unemployment. One of our local congressional reps from out of the San Diego area down here in California, Duncan Hunter, he's going to introduce a bill to change the reporting on the unemployment. He doesn't like that we use the U3 number where it makes everything look rosy and it's only 8.1% unemployment because we just don't count all these people over here. He don't like that. He wants to change it. Now, he doesn't want to go with the U6 number, which is the number that I always like to point at as like that's the true, and that includes people who are discouraged or no longer looking or hired or working part-time but want full-time. The U5 number will count a lot of the discouraged people, people who haven't been looking but want jobs. It still doesn't count everybody. We're still not counting people who have quote-unquote given up. Speaking of things not going good in the economy, and this is also another story out of California, the California Teachers Retirement System, or CalSTARS as they like to call it, they increased their underfunding of the fund, how much money they've put aside to cover future pension liabilities. They're currently underfunded by $64.5 billion, and that was an increase of $9 billion from the prior report. Of course, I'm sure if you're a teacher in California, I have friends who are teachers in California, your pension system's not doing so hot, so hopefully you're putting away money somewhere else because it may not last long. So we get the Captain Obvious Award this week is going to go to Ben Bernanke. Bernanke, in talking again in his comments to Congress, said that he warned again that out-of-control borrowing and spending will eventually destroy the country. Same Ben Bernanke who, 2007, 2008 was saying, if you don't do these bailouts and if you don't, do these stimulus packages, then, the nation is going to be destroyed. Well, he got that put through after scaring the crap out of everybody, and now he's saying that because of all this, the country's going to be destroyed. So, thank you, central bank. You're absolutely killing us. So, killthebank2012.com. Check it out. Killthebank2012.com. We really got to shut down the central banks. That's what's destroying not only our country but many countries around the world. If you watch things like the money changers and things like that, you'll find that how it's all being done, and you'll understand that what the idea and the thought is behind the central banks and how they're controlling and taking away everybody's liberty and freedom. Eventually, we'll have a one world bank to save everybody, the IMF. So you've probably caught the story in the news about the GSA, Government Services Agency. Military, we always use them. That's where we got our cars when we needed to travel from one location to another without using a military vehicle. You just go down to the GSA office and sign the paperwork and take that car up to another base to pick up a part or drop a soldier off somewhere. It's like a rental car agency, but they do a lot of other things for government. And, I'm just furious when hearing about the waste, the money spent at these outings to Vegas. Well, we find out that in Vegas, in order to feed them, to have a dinner, they had to have an awards ceremony, and they gave out the Jackass Award. And the part that has me so absolutely fuming is that they didn't give the Jackass Award to Obama. Seriously? You're going to come up with the Jackass Award and you don't give it to Obama? Really? You give it to some guy who just screwed up around the office? I mean, what the hell's wrong with you people? No wonder why it's a big waste over there. You can't even give the award to the right person. On a more serious note, there's been all this tension in the news. The Trayvon Martin thing, that's kind of like, okay, that news cycle's done with. Moving along here. They've arrested him just like everybody wanted. We got mob justice in this country these days, it seems. I was going to do a whole video on it and did a lot of research and put out a fact-based video to kind of dispel. There's so many people, even who are just like 90%, 95% there in getting out the factual information, and then they kill it by throwing out some erroneous information, and it just... Anyway, I'm not going to touch it anymore because Zimmerman, negotiated and talked with the DA, and he pretty much agreed to, look, I'm going to turn myself in, and he realizes that that's the safest place for him is in protective custody at this point. So, anyway, not even going to ask for bail. But another thing that's been in the news all week is North Korea threatening to launch a rocket, they say, for scientific purposes, and the rest of the world is going, yeah. They know it's not scientific, and they're just testing a long-range rocket to see about getting warheads up somewhere so they can detonate. And they launched it Thursday evening, or I guess Friday morning North Korean time, and it, from all reports, it did not make it into space. It disintegrated and never made it. I don't know if that was by design or if it was maybe shot down, maybe the U.S. used one of its new laser weapons or HARP or something else, who knows. The story that caught my eye, another local story, has to do with police action and kind of overkill. Police taking it way beyond where they should, in my opinion. This happened early Thursday, I guess. There was a man leading police on a chase. It was on TV, and driving erratic. They tried to pull him over. He was on the phone with 911 dispatch, telling dispatch, "I've got a gun. These cops are they're gonna get hurt, and if they pull their guns on me, I'm gonna pull mine on them, and there's gonna be problems." And of course, the 911 dispatcher is gonna relay this information to the cops, which to me makes the cops justified in doing what happened. Just they always seem to go a little overboard. I don't understand what it is. It's adrenaline pumping or what. Anyway, so the guy pulls his car to a stop across lanes of traffic, gets out, starts running, and then turns and starts running backwards while facing the cops. And of course they have their weapons drawn and they're telling him to get down, and because they had their weapons out, he acts like he pulls and points at them. So what do? Of course they shoot. 90 rounds. 8 officers fired 90 rounds and finally killing him. And I'm thinking, this is on the 101 freeway, alright? It's one of the busier freeways in Southern California. And to fire 90 rounds, I mean, these guys aren't marksmen. I go to the range, I see these cops shoot. A lot of them don't shoot well at all. It's really sad. Where's the training about checking your background? I mean, there's no reports of anyone getting hurt. I'm not saying that. But 90 rounds is a lot of rounds to be putting down range when your suspect is in front of you and behind is all these other lanes of traffic. The 101 freeway, on average, it's 4 to 5 lanes each direction. So, talking about a lot of traffic. I mean, true traffic was stopped on the eastbound side, where this happened, but I don't think they had stopped the traffic, from what I could tell, on the westbound side. And bullets do travel. They go beyond targets, especially when you're missing your target and there's not a big wall or something to stop the bullets. That's not too safe, kind of dangerous. I think they all need to hit the range and get a little more practice in, because that's a little excessive. I think this guy, in his actions and statements, was looking to die, suicide by cop. But I think they went way overboard, especially 8 officers shooting, roughly 11 rounds each. Kind of excessive, but that's just my opinion. So anyway, that's all I've got for Thoughts for the Weekend this week. If you haven't checked it out already, check out preppersite.com. Pretty good site. It's got a contest going on. You just hit his 1,000th sub, and I entered that contest as well. There's also another website, a What If. I'll link it right there. All right, give them a check, shout out. Well, I guess I'm giving them a shout out. Anyway, they're going to be putting up some videos, some what if scenario videos, starting in May, where they'll say, what if, and they'll give a scenario, and then there'll be, I guess, different, preppers, people in the community that that'll be doing response videos to those scenarios and doing like a scenario-based, here's how they're going to handle that scenario. So anyway, link to it right up here. Check it out. Why am I going the opposite side of normal? Go figure. But anyway, check it out and see what you think. Anyway, that's all I've got for this weekend. I'm heading to Philadelphia tomorrow. Be flying out, and I'll be out in the city of brotherly love, and gangsters that'll knife you for staring at them sideways. Be there for the week, and hopefully check out some good things. The weather doesn't look like it's going to cooperate so much, but we'll see. Maybe I can get to that Liberty Bell and ring it and go, free bananas. We'll see. Anyway, that's all I've got. That's for you, Coke Man. Have a good weekend. SOS out.